The hope for the channel was to be somewhat Kubrick centric, as well as deal with other topics such as philosophy, culture, technology, and so on and so forth. And it's been drifting a little bit, so I'm going to try to correct that by putting up a lot of Kubrick's work, a lot of Kubrick interviews, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to start with putting up one of his very, very early films, a very, very good films, and I'm going to include an interview he did where he touches upon the film and its problems. I will be putting the film in its own playlist, so please enjoy. I will try to put up more auteur or Kubrick-centric material as well as more philosophical material ahead. Thank you.
I had a certain amount of money, and I was still working. So then I quit Look, because I decided that there obviously wasn't any money in shorts, but that I then found out how much feature films were being made for it, and millions, and I had calculated that I could make a feature film for about $10,000. And
well, how did you calculate that?
Well, again, by projecting the amount of film I'd shoot, figuring that I could get actors to work for practically nothing, work with. At this point, I was the whole crew: cameraman, assistant cameraman, director, everything. So I had no cost. So a friend of mine in the village did a script.
Were you living in the village in those days?
I was living on 16th Street, off 6th Avenue. And he did a script which was a terrible, sort of dull, undramatic, but very, very serious allegorical story about 4 soldiers from an unnamed country lost behind enemy lines trying to find their way home again. And it had lines in it like, we spend our lives running our fingers down the lists of names and addresses looking for our real, no, running our fingers down the lists of something or other, looking for our real names or our real addresses. I can't remember what the line is, but it was that kind of a thing, And of course, I totally failed to recognize what I didn't know about making films or anything. I just thought, well, these other 2 things that turned out pretty well, but they were documentaries. And
the second thing that turned out pretty well.
Yeah, but I didn't really know what I didn't know, and I thought, well, Christ, there really can't be very much more to making a feature film, and I certainly couldn't make one worse than the films that I kept seeing every week. And but I wasn't satisfied to just make an interesting film. I wanted it to be a very poetic and meaningful film. And it was a little bit like the Thurber story about the midget, who wouldn't take the base on balls. And decided to swing, And so I got the film made, and but it was very, very dull. And it got an art house distribution. It was called Fear and Desire, distributed by Joseph Burston, who was at one time, I think he was the distributor who first brought in Rossellini's pictures. It got a few reasonably good reviews. It got a nice blurb from Mark Van Doren, and who was very kind about it. And it had a few good moments in it, but with the exception of 1 or 2 of the actors, they were all terrible actors, and I knew nothing about directing any actors.
Well, how did you go about directing them? Just sort of.
Well, I don't remember. It was really, it was really just. Well, actually, from some of the so-called professional efforts I've subsequently seen, people doing, I would say I didn't go about it that much differently than a lot of people do, but I didn't really know anything, But there were some good moments in it, and as I say, it even got a few good reviews. But it never returned a penny of its investment.
Was this your own dough you put up?
No. I raised the money privately. And then, while this picture was took a long time to edit the film and get all the the thing done. I spent over a year on it, and it opened at the Guild Theater in New York, and it was pretty apparent, that it was terrible, And while it was still playing, I decided, well, I'd better get another script very fast and try to promote some more money on the strength of just the fact that the thing was playing, because it wasn't apparent to me how I was going to earn a living or do anything, And again, not one single offer ever to do anything, from anybody. So I, in about 2 weeks, knocked together another script with somebody, and this time it was sort of a reaction to the other one. This was nothing but action sequences